Well, it is Emergency Preparedness Week, and of course, Muskoka is prepared. And to talk about this today with me is our Paramedic Chief, Jeff McWilliam. Jeff, thanks for taking the time today.
Pleasure to be here, James.
So, Jeff, the theme is emergency preparedness. So, maybe you can tell me a bit about how that affects what you're doing with paramedic services.
Well, absolutely, and as you know, this is a emergency preparedness week. So happy week, May 2nd to 8th. The provincial government focuses on the promotion and education of emergency preparedness, and this year's theme is "Be ready for anything," which needless to say, in these times, we had some flooding, we've had extreme weather events, we're in the middle of a pandemic, we know we could have some forest fires. So really, I think that's very appropriate for this year's theme. So there is a lot of things going on throughout the week, obviously limited due to what we are into with the pandemic, but lots of tweets, lots of social media things going on. So lots of activity other than our role in paramedic services.
Jeff, last year we actually did a little interview with you and a few other heads of services in Muskoka, and there was a discussion about how all of these services, coordinate quite heavily with each other for matters like emergencies. And I don't know if you want to tell me again how that works. I know there's a lot of communication between the departments.
Yeah, there sure is, James. Our friends in the OPP and fire, we obviously work very closely together when it comes to emergency response, immediate emergency response through the 911 system. But what folks may or may not know is we have a committee here in Muskoka, and it's MERC is the acronym for it, MERC, and it's Muskoka Emergency Response Committee, and it's inclusive of all the community emergency management coordinators for all the area municipalities, inclusive of the detachment commanders in OPP and our friends in First Nations. So this is a committee that I chair, and we talk about emergencies and being prepared for things such as flooding, extreme weather events. And it's a committee that meets 4 times a year or when necessary, and really walk through all the stages of preparedness and really assess the risk, not only for the district wide, but also for each individual municipality. So there's work going on from an emergency response immediate situation, and then there's also that proactive approach through the coordinated efforts of the area municipalities and First Nations.
Now, Jeff, I know that we don't want these scenarios to happen, but also I'm aware that, a lot of these emergency services do prepare in the physical sense as well in terms of training. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, sort of for training, there's a little bit of joint training that goes on between all 3 services, primarily when it comes to tabletop exercises, which are very popular in the emergency management world. Some of the other folks we have included in that is our airport here in Muskoka. Obviously, that would be a bit of a catastrophic event should there be an airplane issue. So annually we go over and we work with our airport folks, but that's also includes OPP for obvious reasons, and certainly the fire department and multiple levels of government over there. And certainly there's lots of legislation that goes on. Some of our other partners have been the hospital. We conducted a Code Orange mock exercise with the hospital where the district took a co-leadership role with the hospital in organizing that. Each area municipality we participate in exercises on, so there's lots of joint opportunity to work these plans, and you always find something, whether it's through a tabletop or a real exercise that you can improve upon.
And finally, Jeff, recently the district, in conjunction with emergency services, has announced a new way of informing people of what's going on in the area, which is Voyent Alert. Can you tell me a bit about that service and how that will benefit the area should we face an emergency?
Thanks, James. Yes, through that MERC committee I mentioned earlier, we recognized that we could be better at communications, and how do we get communications out to our folks in a little more real time. This sort of 2 events really sparked this. One was obviously the flooding in 2019, and then most recently the water main break that we had here in Bracebridge. And working through notifications, we were able to get the message out, but we still think we can get it out a little bit faster. So through this MERC committee, we were able to come up with this software program that exists. We didn't invent it, but we purchased a software program called Voyent Alert, and it works similar to the provincial alerting system. So for example, when there's an Amber Alert that goes out, the province pushes that information out, and it's usually provincial wide, albeit targeted to where the actual incident is happening. So for us to leverage that takes, I'm sure you can imagine, there's process to go through to get a message out there. Well, Voyent Alert, what this allows us to do is to push that message out proactively from right here in Muskoka. So the approval level is basically through our MERC committee, and it goes out and it's interrupting when it's an emergency like that. So it's similar to the provincial system. So for this system, you do have to sign up, and we encourage folks to sign up. And if, say, you live in Huntsville and you're like, I'm not interested in receiving anything from Gravenhurst, well, you can set that up that way. So it can be very specific to where you want to receive notifications from in Muskoka. So you could say, I live in Huntsville, but my spouse maybe works in Gravenhurst, so I do want to receive Gravenhurst, and I do want to receive Muskoka, or Huntsville. Then you can sign up for both of those. So it's really, really easy. It's really customizable. It takes about a minute to sign up. You can remain anonymous on there, so we don't share any of your information or anything like that. Our goal is to just have you sign up.
And it's a great app as well, because as I understand it, it just runs in the background. You don't need to do anything with it beyond that. It will just immediately alert you if there is an emergency.
Absolutely. And it's really easy. For more information or to register, I encourage folks to go to our website with the district, muskoka.on.ca, and then there's Alert Muskoka, and it'll walk you right through all the information and how to register.
Fantastic. Well, Jeff, it's really good to know that you guys are on top of things, and if things really go bad, we're going to have a great plan in place to help out, and we know that the emergency services are competently working together. So, thank you very much for taking the time today and explaining this process to us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, James.